Welcome to Awards Buzz. I'm Shadan Larki here with Samba Shoot, one of the stars of Pluribus. Thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate it.
Thank you, Shadan. It's lovely to talk to you.
I have so many questions for you. First of all, I mean, your character really does embrace sort of his position as one of the I guess chosen, non-chosen ones outside of the hive mind. What was that like for you to sort of get to embrace this power, this like having the world at your fingertips, quite literally?
Yeah, not easy because I am not that outlandish. I'm a very shy, timid guy in real life. But I think what helped was when I spoke with Vince once I got the part, he said, look, at the end of the day, forget about big personality or being the king in the court. At the end of the day, this character is a child at heart. He's the happiest kid in a candy store. He has a genie at his disposal that will grant him any wish he wants. And that really helped me tap into that, just this childlike wonder at this new opportunity in the world, getting whatever he wants. Air Force One, Vegas, being James Bond, surrounded by supermodels, you name it. But not being a menace about it, not being a creep about it, but really, really coming from the place of joie de vivre, love of life, love of joy, love of living it up, because God knows how long he has.
hmm And in some ways, I mean, I'm sure you can relate to your character in terms of this being such a big opportunity and feeling like you've arrived at this moment and wanting to make the most of it. I mean, was that something that you were able to sort of draw on a little bit?
Oh yeah. I mean, who can't imagine working with Vince Gilligan being one of the best things ever? I was a huge Breaking Bad fan, Better Call Saul, obviously El Camino Real, and it was always kind of like a distant thought, like, oh, one day I really do want to work with Vince and do a sci-fi project. It would be amazing. And then when both combinations happened on the same plate, it was a dream come true. And so that childlike wonder and giddiness, that natural giddiness came up. And Vince is so good at making you feel like part of the family. So as soon as I was on set, he set the tone. Everyone's been working together for 20 past years or whatever. So it's very tight knit. And you just feel welcome. You feel safe. You feel like you can have fun. And like with every take I would do with my character, it was so fun to just hear Vince giggling behind the monitor and that little high pitched giggle of his, just with everything I was doing. And so then I knew, yeah, yes, I'm in the pocket. He's having fun watching me, so I can have fun playing.
Yeah, and your character is so important for Carol's development. I mean, he's kind of a foil of she's so resistant to the opportunity and he's sort of going for it and he does sort of become a sounding board for her. He offers her more compassion than many of the others do. Tell me about that dynamic and playing that out.
So Racy Horn is just a fantastic partner to have, a collaborator. She welcomed me to the show as a number one. I've hardly ever had that on other shows, but also she was such a collaborator to want to rehearse scenes and work with scenes, and especially with our dynamic, because like you say, Mr. Diabatè is one of the few survivors who actually makes an effort, has some compassion towards her, understands her cause, is maybe just as lonely as she is, but is hiding it really well by surrounding himself with all this lavishness. So I loved a being an opposite soundboard to Ray because there's nothing funner than getting under Ray's skin. Literally, like her notes as her character Carol was every time she'd interact with me. So I loved playing against that. But at the end of the day, also, he's a very rational guy. His points are very valid. There's no war, there's no crimes, there's no racism. Who doesn't want that? Isn't this the utopia we wanted? But also, he is very street smart, this character. He is aware of the rules of this game, right? He's done his own research. He knows they're eating people before she does. He knows they can't turn you without their permission. He fills her in on all this information she was suffering to, investigate, whereas he was just like, ask them. They'll tell you the truth. Just ask them. So he's ahead of the game and he educates on her a few things, which just shows me that there's so much nuance to this character. At first sight, he might seem like just the hedonistic type, but underneath it, he's really trying to understand this new world, doing his own research, and has more compassion than we think. So I loved playing all those layers, and Ray is just such a fun partner to play with.
And how much of the mystery did you know sort of ahead of time? How are you planning out sort of what he knows relative to what she knows, relative to what the audience knows? There's so many layers there. How do you manage all of it?
So for me, it was really strange because I started with the Vegas episode. That was the first thing I was filming. So already I was like, oh, shoot. So I already have to be here as a character, already know what I know. And then in episode two, which we filmed later, kind of pretend I don't know. And so it was really interesting working backwards. But it was really helpful to already kind of get a grasp on who he is. So, like I said, he would do his own research, he would understand the rules. He is lonelier than we think he is, but is approaching it differently. And so I really enjoyed working backwards that way because then there was no more secrets. With the other cast members, they would only get the script a couple of weeks before they'd film the episode. So they didn't know what was going on or where it'd go. Whereas I knew with my character where he was going starting already. So yeah, that was fun.
And one of the things that you mentioned, I mean, your character does have this beautiful vulnerability to him, sort of underneath the maybe showboatiness, over the topness. How did you sort of tap into that and sort of that childlike excitement at the same time? I mean, it is such a layered character, and you're only in two episodes. I mean, the impression that you leave is truly remarkable, and I know the fans feel that way as well.
Thank you, Shadan. It's nice of you to say. I know it's like amazing. People are like, "You're in the whole show." I was like, "No, it's literally two episodes." They're like, "I can't." No, you were everywhere. I was like, "No, I was in two episodes." So to have made that impact is really beautiful. To have fans react in the way they did and have the discussions the way they did, and the response to that, and just to be included in any kind of buzz of the performance I was giving. It's just such an honor and such a blessing. And it just all comes down to how Vince was directing me and Ganja and all our writers and really helping me. I'm a comedian at heart, so it's easy for me to play jokes, but they said that this is not, a character we're making a caricature out of. He's a human. And so just to tap into that humanity. And so for me, it was like, okay, look, I've had my own vulnerabilities in life. I'm a kid who's, from a mixed race parents. I was raised in Africa, in Ethiopia, in Mauritania, moved here as an immigrant. So I know poverty. I know the struggle of belonging and trying to fit in. And when you're finally given an opportunity to fit in, it just feels great to belong. And so this is what this character has gone through because he doesn't come from a good life, but suddenly he's in a world where he is not seen as, oh, an African man, or maybe if he's from a Muslim country or whatever. There's no discrimination. And he's accepted for who he is, and people love him for who he is, the others give him all the love. And so I could really step into that and recognize that feeling of finally, I'm not labels, I'm a human at heart.
I mean, and with that said, what's next for you in terms of this moment in your career? I know you just got, representation and it feels like you're on the cusp of something big. Do you have anything you can tell me about or your hopes or
Nothing yet, but I can say that this has opened so many doors in such a great way. Just to be associated with any kind of Vince Gilligan show is so beautiful. And I'm so excited for season two because I've been told that this character is going to go through some pretty fun stuff. So I can't wait to see what they have in store for me.
do you know if it's going to be like more than a couple episodes, maybe a larger arc?
Yes, I was told that it's going to be a larger arc.
That's so okay. And one more question is, Apple makes us wait a long time in between seasons. How much torture are we gonna have to go through to wait for season?
Trust me, Shadan, I go to their office. They're a 5 minute walk away from me. I walk to that office every 2 weeks. Just like I bring baked goods as an excuse, but I'm literally going, so when and how and what's going on and what and I appreciate how secretive they are. It's really impressive. But I also appreciate how Vince is not one to, slack on quality. He really wants to make sure it lives up to the first season. It lives up to what these characters deserve, the story deserves, and what the fans deserve. And so I love that they are able to focus on the quality. And trust me, I think people are really, really gonna love where they're going with this.
Yeah, what are you hoping for your character? What are some facets that you would like to tap into?
So we were talking about humanity and how this character has so many layers and nuances, which was a lot of fun to play as a comedic actor, to slip into the drama of that. But I would love to see who he was before the joining.
Mm.
Just get a glimpse of it, maybe a flashback episode to understand where did he come from. Obviously, we established that, his name is Kumba, which is a woman's name in my culture, which means that his mother died during childbirth, because that's the only reason a man would take on a woman's name in my culture. So he grew up pretty much alone, didn't have a good life. And so why? once he has this genie at his disposal? Why is he choosing to fly on Air Force One? Why is he going to Vegas? Why is he playing James Bond? What is his fascination with A, American culture, and B, wanting to role play as a king? Because clearly he lacked on all these things. And so I'm really curious to who he was before all this.
And in terms of the world of Pluribus, are there sort of any burning questions that you'd have as a fan that you're hoping season two answers?
So we've only met a couple of the survivors, right? I mean, I know they're all in a group chat, and clearly Mr. Diabatè is the one organizing the group chat. Like they're meeting on Tuesdays and Fridays on Zoom. And so I want to know who these non-English speakers are. I want to travel to where was it? Sicily, Lesotho, Indonesia, Japan. Like I want to see who these people are too, and kind of get to know their story as well, and how the interactions are between all the original humans, the survivors of the ones who are immune. What is their group chat about? What are they talking about? And what is the dynamic in that? Like, because we already see that some people have dealt with it by living in denial, like Lakshmi, who's like, this is my family, whether you say it or not. Some others are processing the change. Mr. Diabate is accepting the change, but finding his own way to, handle it and deal with it and take advantage of it. So I'm curious to the dynamic between the original survivors and how they would treat Carol. Clearly, they don't like her, but maybe Mr. Diabate can help them see her side too.
Can I tell you the biggest pluribus debate among my friend group? Maybe you can weigh in is sort of consent and how that works. Like if the hive mind are consenting to Mr. Diabate's
So
contract or not. Like
that
are those
that
questions going to be answered? I don't know.
I know that's been a very touchy topic, definitely with my character, because there is that whole idea of are they still autonomous on their bodies and on their minds, and I know they're a hive mind now without giving permission to be changed. So there's that whole discussion of if he is, for example, being with these supermodels, is it against their will or is it not? And I love that it's creating all this discussion because at the end of the day, once you put yourself in this situation and you see that, hey, the world's changed, there's 12 people who are still original humans, everyone else is this alien virus, but they will do anything in their power to make you happy and give you anything they want and seem so willing and eager, and it brings them joy to bring you joy. Wouldn't you fall for it? Wouldn't you, be like, oh, you love me? Then can I please have a jacuzzi and live it up and have a party? So there's that whole topic of consent, yes, but once you're in that situation and you're surrounded by people saying yes all the time, you fall for it. And so I'm really curious to how that'll be addressed. And also, at the end of the day, these guys are pretty sneaky, right? They got Carol's eggs, and God knows if they've got Manusos's DNA when he was in the hospital. So what do they have on Kumba?
Well, Samba, is there anything that I haven't asked you about that you want to touch on before I let you go? As I said, the Pluribus fans, they're very passionate. Any message for the fans or anything you want to leave us with?
I'm so grateful for the fans. I just love how people are talking about this show. It's so strange and odd and beautiful to be a part of a show that's global and globally renowned and getting all this recognition. It's so humbling. And so I just want to tell everybody thank you for the support. And I know it's a long wait, but trust me, it will pay off. So just be patient. And just as much as the thrill was of season one, you're in for an even bigger thrill with season two. So hang in there. Things move fast. The time goes fast, so just it'll be worth it.
Well, congratulations on everything. I'm so happy that you're having this moment, and I can't wait to see where it takes you next. And hopefully, we get to talk for season two. Thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate it, Shadan. Thank you so much.